because I don't want my dance skills for anybody and my song choices who's not joined early, because that's special for any of you who got on early. And you know my ABBA session with ABBA. I can find a music with ABBA to match anything we're doing if you haven't figured it out. So today we have some good stuff, but before we jump in with Hector, I want to hear an aha, just one juicy aha from you. Somebody come off mute and tell me what you've learned so far.
The best from the yesterday was that model is a model, not the menu.
Right?
Yeah.
So
you always try to choose what you want, but turn out you need to do all.
right. And what if you're allergic to that ingredient, right? One little piece of it, we need it all. We need it all. Yeah, that was a hard hitting quote from Laurie yesterday.
That was really good.
Yeah, I texted her and I was like, can you put that back in your words for me? Because it was so hard hitting. I want to make sure I get that right when I put it in the email to you
It
guys.
was really good. Yeah.
That one hit home. I just saw Randy put that he needs to reread the book too. So secret, I put in the back of my book how many times I've read it. And now this is my second book. So my other one had 13 marks and this one 5, 6, 7 marks so far. Front to back. And my secret, bind your MREA. Go to Staples, go to Office Max, ask them to chop the side off and bind it. It's a game changer. It will last a little longer. All right. So guys, today we have Hector Martinez with us. Where are you? I found you. Let's spotlight you for everyone. Good morning, friend.
Good morning. How are you, bro?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm excellent. This is one of, I think, our most important things, because sometimes at the end of the day, we forget we're business owners, right? We want to help people get into homes, to sell their homes, find vacation homes, investment property. So the economic model is a big topic. And I'm not a math person, believe it or not. For as nerdy as I am, I rely on these spreadsheets and a calculator to really help me understand these numbers. So I can't wait to hear what you have for us today when it comes to the economic model. So why don't you introduce yourself, your
Sure.
market center, and then we'll get rocking and rolling.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Hector Martinez. I am team leader at Keller Williams Pioneer Valley in Longmeadow, Massachusetts. I'm an entrepreneur by trade. I got into real estate as a business, started a real estate team, went on to become an interim team leader, moved to New York as a team leader, helped the office I was with there have some originally started. And I've been here for the past year and a half, running our Longmeadow office. So I'm excited to talk about the economic model. Do you want me to just take it away, Brooke?
Take it away. So guys, just as a reminder, this was 172 to 184, a short little bit of the book, but an important bit of the book. And just Hector's reminder, I'll be dropping some things in the chat for you guys. Student resources, where to find the economic model spreadsheet that this nerd uses and helps other agents with, and some fun graphics. But don't freak out if you miss those. They come in a wrap-up email to you.
Cool. All right. Here we go. So who's excited to talk about wealth, to talk about money? I know I am, and let me tell you why. I have a passion for building wealth, growing businesses, more importantly, building security. I missed yesterday's session, but I know that during the first session, there was so much energy behind leveraging. And Brian, right? Brian did that session, and he just had so much energy. And he had to learn how to leverage, right? And then session 2, I mean, Rhonda and her laser focus to lead generate, spot on, right? And then session 3, Chris brought all that passion behind listings. 2 buyers, I mean, come on, focused on listings with a passion. And that's the same passion that I have for wealth building. And my passion is more about the FIRE concept. Raise your hand if you've heard of that concept before, FIRE. Shout it out, unmute yourselves. This is going to be interactive.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Financial independence, retire early, right? The FIRE concept there. That's where my passion lies. And I'm going to ask you one more question. Who here knows a real estate agent who's older than their great grandmother and is still actively selling? Raise your hand. Shout it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, we all know those agents, right? And poor agents, literally, probably. And here's what we want to do. Who wants to be that person? Again, shout it out if you want to be that person.
Yeah, maybe. Kinda.
Maybe.
I definitely do.
Gotta keep moving because I don't know
Who
if
wants to be that person because they want to, not because they have to be?
Yeah.
I want to be that person.
Because you,
I'm not going to stop working, because once you stop working,
yeah.
seen it, you die.
Who wants
No,
to be
but-
that person because they want to be, not because they have to be?
Yeah, you
I
can
want
see
to
some
be.
agents, they don't want to work, but they have to work because they have nothing to live.
You got it,
You can see that they're tired. They don't want to be there.
right?
They don't
So much
perform.
better if it's a choice, right? And so the question is, who wants to be a millionaire real estate agent? Raise your hands.
Me, I guess.
So here's the real question, right? Who's willing to do what it takes to be a millionaire real estate agent?
I know I am.
Two different questions. If you are willing to do what it takes, that's what we're going to talk about today. We know that leads, listings, and leverage is what we have to do, right? Those are the action steps, but there's a model that comes before that. And these four concepts, one of them, which is the economic model, will lead us to leads, listings, and leverage. So when we talk about the economic model, we're talking about a roadmap to becoming a millionaire, right? And it starts with the top number at 2.5, 2.4 according to the MREA book. Write that down, 2.4. I'm going to spell it for you. First letter is 2. Second letter is period. Third letter is 4. Fourth letter is M. Fifth letter is G. Sixth letter is C. Seventh letter is I. Write that down. What's that mean to you? This is interactive. What's 2.4 MGCI mean to you?
It means that you have to earn
Million GCI,
commission income.
gross,
Oh, I lost you. What was that?
it's 2.4 million in GCI, which is gross. Oh, I can't, the letters.
Yeah.
Income.
Commission income.
Yeah.
Gross commission income.
That's it, commission, gross
Right on,
commission
right on.
income.
And so why is that important?
Money in the poquito.
Yes.
So you can net a million.
That's right. So you can net $1 million. So if you were able to read the chapter, you know that 2.4 million in GCI, right? That's gross commission income, is the key number to netting $1 million. And that's if you follow the model to a T. The way that Gary got to that was, of course, by interviewing hundreds of agents. And he realized that once you build a team, you have about $700,000 in cost of sales and $700,000 in operating expenses, right? So if you take that 2.4 and you subtract 1.4 million, what do you got?
$1 million.
$1 million. There's the key. He did mention one thing in this portion that I want to highlight. I'm just going to read it to you because it's that impactful. We get all psyched up when we talk about 2.4 million, $1 million net, 320 units sold is all it takes, 250,000 average sale price. My average sale price is 300,000, 400,000, right? 3% average commission. I take 7% listings and I pocket 4.5%. That's all fantastic. But this is the key. And it says here on page 173, above all, you'll be focused on what? Generating leads. I like to say lead generation comes first, last, and always. The difference between the millionaire real estate agent and an average real estate agent is that the millionaire never drops the ball on lead generation. I repeat, the difference between the millionaire real estate agent and the average real estate agent is that the millionaire never drops the ball on lead generation. Doesn't matter what comes up. When finished, he turns his attention to the problems of the day. When finished, right? Lead generation comes first. If he allows himself to be distracted from his core job, he'll always be lagging behind and exposing himself to the vagaries of shifting markets. If lead generation doesn't get done, everything else could become unnecessary. So
Say this full time and loud, and for the people in the back who maybe were shuffling their books around,
yeah,
just say it.
the whole part.
No, the millionaire real estate agent never drops the ball on lead gen.
Yeah.
If you take one thing out of this session today with Hector, listen to that, because I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but how many of you were diligent about doing your lead gen yesterday and got those 4 hours in, those 6 hours in, the things you were supposed to do, and you checked all the boxes and you put all those things in your systems? This is there's no magic. It's doing these things. So get that.
That's right. That's why we asked that question, right? Who wants to be a millionaire? Who's willing to do what it takes? Two different questions. And in fact, Gary mentions why. I'll read it again. If lead generation doesn't get done, everything else could become unnecessary. Everything else could become unnecessary. All right, so that is the key. Then after that, we're going to focus on listings. That's the next thing. All right, so when we talk about building a big business and becoming millionaire real estate agents, one thing always comes up. You know, so-and-so wants to work with me. They love my quality of service. I'm the only one who can whatever. But here's the question. Who has ever stayed at the Ritz? And who stayed at the mom and pop motel down the road owned by who knows what? What's the difference in quality of service? Shout it out.
You don't have to ask for a towel thrice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the Ritz, like at every level, the quality is high. It doesn't matter to whom you talk. It can be a manager or the cleaning lady.
Yeah.
The service is excellent.
Right. One more.
You're treated like a person.
I love that. I love that. And here's the cool thing, right? The Ritz, are they leveraged? Anyone? Or does the owner personally, cater to you?
They're highly leveraged and they have systems in place.
Yeah. And then the mom and pop hotel, motel down the road, it's the owner, right? Probably living there, catering to your every whim. Who has better service, right? So what's the key concept here?
Don't be afraid to let go. And
Find good people to work for you.
Systems
Also
and
true.
models.
Jennifer?
Systems and models are in place.
Yeah. Systems and models are in place, and the right people, and not being afraid to let go, right? All important. Starts with systems and models, because that's going to impact the quality of your personal service. Then the right people, right? Those two concepts, and they have to go hand in hand. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Would your business be better or worse if you had systems and models and you were personally following those systems and models?
Yes.
Better or worse?
Better.
Far better.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Would your business be better or worse if you did not have systems and models that you were following, but you hired someone to follow systems and models?
Definitely better.
Yeah, better, right? So it's not us personally, although we may be fantastic, awesome, outstanding individuals. That's not necessarily why someone wants to do a business transaction with you, right? They might want to have a beer with you. They might want to go to the ball game with you, but this is business. They want to have a business transaction with you because of your outstanding systems and models and customer service. And that's the key. So we want to make sure that we come up with systems and models, and then put the right people in place on the right seats on the bus. That's another book, Brooke, by the way. I'm sure you've read it. All right, so let's talk about the 4 models. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent Economic Model really is the fundamental model to getting everything started. We talked about the magic number 2.4 in GCI. Do we want to break that down? Does someone want to break that down with their real numbers as a real life example? Anyone? I'm going to give you the numbers. You won't do any math. Don't be afraid of doing that. So who wants to use their real numbers? Anyone? If not, we'll go with the book.
I can use the numbers. What do you
Okay.
need?
Elena, what is your average sale price?
Around 600. Let's put the 600.
Right on. Okay. So you're going to write that number down. Okay. And so what you want to do is you want to get to 2.4 million, right? So what is your average? Thank you, Brooke. What is your average commission on your end, right? So we don't want to be commission.
2.5.
2.5?
Yeah.
All right, so let's use real life numbers. 2.5. What do we got? 2.5% of 600,000.
Let me find the calculator.
Math whizzes out there.
Yeah, it's okay. I just need a calculator. I'll find it.
All right.
15.
15,000, right? So 2.4, right? 2.4 million is the magic number divided by 15K. What do we got?
$160.
160
Good job.
units.
The faster part.
160 units. Is that doable?
By me alone, probably now. I'm doing like around 35. I need to grow.
That's awesome. Nice job. Nice job. So now we know you're probably maxed out and you need what next?
I need a leveraging team.
Leverage. Yes, yes. Leverage. And also listings, right? I'm sorry, leads. Also leads.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. 160 units for you, Elena, will get you, will make you a millionaire. Net a million. How cool is that? 160 units. Does everyone see how we got there? Right? And we're already, by doing it that way, the easy way, we're already building in the cost of sales and the operating expenses, right? Because we started at the 2.4. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to follow the book here. And Gary mentions one thing. Before we address the economic model, this is on page 177, let's examine one more assumption reflected in the model. We're assuming an average sale price of 250 is well above the national median. We substitute your actual numbers, and then he gives you a figure on figures 31 and 32 on pages 178 and 179. And if you have the book in front of you, here's the cool part. It actually breaks down somewhat from an average sale price of 150 to an average sale price of 290. So if you fall somewhere in that range, the book already does the math for you, and it gives you the difference in closed units. Okay. Also, it's going to be, probably far more beneficial to use your own numbers. So get your real numbers down, do the math. 2.4 is the magic number. You got to know your average sale price. Divide that by your average commission. And that's how you're going to get your actual numbers for you. Moving on. Does anyone have any questions on that? By the way, I know we did a little bit of math there, so I want to make sure that's clear.
And real quick, guys, if you're not watching the chat, I do have a plug and play worksheet for you guys that has the economic model on it and the budget model. It's that first tab. Make a copy of this sheet, keep it, play with the numbers so it calculates it for you. So you plug your numbers and off you go.
Right on. Right on. So
Are you
here's the
gonna
floor. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
are you gonna put this in the email? So because it's so we're not gonna get it from the chat.
Absolutely. And it's also in the student resources folder, and I'll keep plopping those things in the emails and chat for you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So right now we're just talking about numbers. It's fun to know, hey, I can become a millionaire. I'm doing 35 units because I'm awesome. And my name's Elena and I'm crushing it. And if I just do, another 35 units, guess what? I'm not going to be a millionaire, but I'm going to be netting $500,000 a year. That's pretty cool, right? And then if I double that, I'm a millionaire. How cool is that? And you're not just a millionaire on paper, you are a millionaire year after year after year, netting $1 million. That's a whole nother level. All right. Now, that whole conversation is fun. I love that. I'm passionate about that. Wealth building. We talked about the fire community ahead of time. So that's all fun and good. But then it comes the work, right? So now that we know the number, right? 160 units for Elena. Here's the real question. How many listings and buyers do we have to have contracted, listed, and or buyer contracts in order to close the 160? Right? How many? And so we can use the average of 70%. Right? 70% average contracted to close, both sides. I think 75 is listing side and 70 buyer side is the MREA numbers. I mean, obviously right now with the current market, listing side is going to be way higher, but it's going to balance out where the buyer side is probably going to be a little lower. So 70% is a safe number. So if we know that Elena has to do 160 units to become a millionaire, how many contracts does she have to have? Math whizzes?
About 228.
228. Okay, cool. Thank you, Randy. 228. Is that possible, Elena, with the right leverage and the right lead sources? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Right on.
I have a little bit higher percentage with the close.
Okay.
But yeah.
Even better. Okay, now here's the next question, right? You know you have to have 228 contracted. How many appointments do you have to go on to get the 228 contracted? Well, let's use that same 70% number. If you have to contract 228, how many appointments do you have to go on?
326.
Thank you, Randy. 326. 326 appointments. That's not even an appointment a day, right? For the year, maybe one appointment a day for the week, for a 5-day week, work week. Maybe just over. All right, everybody follow so far? 326 appointments. Now here is the critical key question. If you get nothing else out of today's session, get this one point down. In order to go on 326 appointments, how many conversations must you have each and every day? That question is going to be different for everybody, right? I think Chris mentioned during his session about listings that he started at, I don't remember what he said, 110, it was either 110 conversations or 110 dials in order to get that appointment. And then he brought it down to like 10 or 6 or whatever it was. And so that's going to be different for everybody. That's a number you're going to want to know because that's what's going to lead your lead generation model, right? How many dials do I have to make to have one conversation? And then how many conversations must I have to have one appointment? Because after 326 appointments, if you're Elena, that's going to lead to 228 contracts, which 228 contracts is going to lead to 160 closings, which is going to lead to netting $1 million, right? So, does everybody follow that math? Questions, comments, concerns? Shout them out.
So how do you find out how many conversation you need? It's mean like how many, like I have a lot of business that come from referrals. So for me, number conversations, usually number appointments.
Cool, cool. So what you want to do, Elena, is you want to add that into your total, right? So whether they come from referrals or whether they come from your lead generation, your prospecting, or whether they come from your marketing, you want to track everything. Just
Yeah.
track, and then you're going to break it down. So you can take last year's if you tracked it and break it down, or you can
Okay.
track from this moment on.
No, I did have it. I have it every time when I do the green sheets and in the command, I usually put where the leads come from. I don't know how to generate the graph. It's probably mechanisms there.
Mhm. So there's two different things there, right? So it's important to know where the leads come from. And then what the metric we're trying to find out is how many conversations it took to get to an appointment. So that's what you want to track. How many conversations it takes to get to the appointment. Once you have that number down, you want to know how many conversations or how many dials or reach outs it took to lead to the conversation. Right? And then if you really want to get granular, you can break down how long it took to have that many reach outs, to lead to that many conversations, to lead to that many appointments, to lead to that many closings, right? And what you do there is you really get to find out how long you have to spend lead generating every day. Once you know how long you have to spend lead generating every day, then you'll know exactly what you have to do. Here's the cool part though. If you want a blanket answer, you don't have to figure it out, to a T, because Gary tells us, right? If you lead generate, and this is assuming script practicing and role playing, so you're getting better, right? If you're just following the model, you can assume that if you lead generate 3 to 4 hours a day while practicing and improving, you're going to be a millionaire. So again, I ask you, this is the last thing I will say, and then I will open it up to you. Who wants to be a millionaire? Who's willing to do what it takes to be a millionaire? And what it takes is improving our scripts and our role and our pitches, our presentations, and 3 to 4 hours a day of lead generation. All right, that's all I got for you. Brooke, what do you got to add to that? What I missed?
How I'm supposed to follow that up, sir. That was a lot. That's a lot of good stuff, a lot of math. And actually, I'm not over mathed because we have a tool. I just want to follow up on the where do you get this information? And this, I got to put my little command plug in. This is where using your data bank and putting those activities in, the calls, the touches, the texts, the meetings, the pop buys is so key. And also there's lead source. So if it came from a Facebook lead, if it came from an open house, a signed call, your sphere of influence, all those things exist in your client's tile where you can see everything, and those things lead to reports. So when you're working in your client, you've got all this data, but then the next step, putting it in opportunities. So when you put it in opportunities, you're putting date of appointment, date agreement is one, date of closing. Guess what? We just gave you all those tracking numbers you were looking for by plugging in a few pieces of data in the beginning. So that's why I love that part of Command for those things, because it gives you these metrics you're looking for. Not having to find it on green sheets, product reports out of reports.kw.com and all these little places, one spot to rule them all, right? Rule your data bank with this information. And it's just such a little bit of information and a couple of seconds of work in the beginning, but it will pay off in the end for you.
Very cool. Yeah, Command, there's a purpose behind it. It's there, let's use it.
Command is the MREA. That's no big secret. Command was built around the models of the MREA. So when agents are frustrated, they want something. I always say, okay, well, help me understand how it relates to a model or a system based out of the MREA so I can make sure we're doing it correctly.
I know.
There's a reason that all these parts So cool. No, that was fantastic. I think sometimes understanding some of those big words that we happen to throw around GCI, like everybody,
Yeah.
but do you understand the GCI? So I love breaking it down. Let's open it up for some questions. We do have some extra minutes, and I know. So Randy, Hector is a team leader. So I know all our market centers are using the demo accounts and Command MC. Do you have a different question around that, or do you want to?
I can
This,
I can just come out and tell you, Randy, for a long time, I was using the agent portion of Command to reach out to my database, meaning other agents at other companies, and it was working phenomenally. I mean, I'll give you one example, right? I sent out a blanket offer, and I got a couple of nasty responses, which of course is always funny. I'll share one of them with you, right? Because this one was really funny. It was,
Culture?
what's that?
Culture?
No. It's that I will never join your company of backyard something. It was hilarious. And we're the #1 company in our area. So I thought that was funny. I wanted to use that as our slogan from now on, but our OP said no. But anyway, so I was using that. I sent out a bunch of blanket offers. It worked so well that I sent that out like 3 months ago. And just 2 weeks ago, somebody reached out to me from it. Hey, I got your offer. I hadn't had a chance to respond, but I absolutely want to chat now. So don't hesitate to use Command. It works. It works.
Yeah, command works, especially if you're working with the Facebook leads. They usually very far reaching, and drop and drip, and they will reach out to you. And even if they not the first time buyers, like I have people who didn't buy first. I showed them many years ago tiny unit, they didn't buy, but now they're buying a house and they come to me.
Yeah, that's
because
a great
they
point.
remember and they see the quality of what you're offering.
Yeah, great point. Right? Jason Abrams has this graph where he says, what's a bad lead? Nothing. There's no such thing as a bad lead. It's just bad timing. Maybe they just bought, or maybe they're not ready yet, but in 7 to 10 years, they will be. Are you the person they're going to go to?
good morning, everyone. This is Kimon from Hartford. And, just kind of putting all of our sessions together. When I ran the numbers for myself, and I came up with 300, right? And I said, okay, what do I need to do? What's my lowest hanging fruit within that I can first go after? And it was cleaning up my Command database, because based on Gary Keller's numbers and what are the conversion rates for the individuals that we have in Command, when I backed into that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's half of where, if I clean up my database and I communicate with them systematically, just based on Gary, who I love, his calculation, that will yield me more than half of where I need to be to get to the MREA status. So, what you focus on, expand, right? So focus on cleaning up the database, communicate with them systematically, and then from there, nurture new leads into the database. But you can't, as far as I'm concerned, put new leads into something that is a mess, because then you just get a mess. And so love the numbers, love crunching it, and love revisiting it as things change, and as our market changes, and as our conversations changes, and our conversion changes. So, that's just a little bit of what is happening for me, and how knowing the numbers, it really connects you more to your business, because you have a goal, and everything, when you have a goal, it goes back to the numbers again, because it doesn't lie.
It does. And, garbage in, garbage out. Your database is your data bank, and it can feed you for life. Your 401kW lives in that data bank. And that's where those reports, where you can see what is the health of every client. And I'll make sure that in that, I think it's in there, I'll just verify, but we've got that healthy contacts. It's easy to get to 80%. It's easy to get the full name, address, phone number, email. We can't sell a house. We don't know where they live. We can't communicate with them. So I'll make sure you guys have that in the folder as well. Get that data bank healthy.
Yeah, right on. Come on, what's up, girl? How are you?
What up, Hector? You're one of my favorite people out there, honey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Too kind. Any other questions regarding the model? No, we're all good. I love that. Do we want to share some of the books we talked about, Brooke?
So yeah, so let's talk about a couple of the books. I'll put it in the email and we've got it on the list. So here, I'm going to pop in the chat some of Hector's favorite books. And at the very beginning, he mentioned The Energy Bus. And that is one of my favorite books because I don't allow energy vampires on my bus. And if you start, or if you've read this book, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Read this. It's quick. It feels so good. It's one of the most heartwarming, enlightening books when it comes to how do you spend your own energy. So when I first read it, I was like, what is this mumbo? Like, I've read a lot of business books, motivational books, and I was like, I don't know about this one. Turned out to be one of the ones I give out the most to people, and I absolutely love it. All right, so you also said The Millionaire Next Door, and you actually have another one of his books in there, which is called Stop Acting Rich. So I think that one is less heard of than The Millionaire Next Door.
Yeah, both phenomenal. I mean, Stop Acting Rich is written after The Millionaire Next Door, so it's newer and it's right on point. If you're passionate about wealth building, that's a starting point.
Awesome. And then you also have Built to Sell in there.
Yeah, I know someone, I think it was Jen, mentioned the E-Myth Revisited before. Great book. Built to Sell is essentially it's like the E-Myth, only it's written like a Lancioni. I don't know if you've ever read Patrick Lancioni, where everything he writes is an analogy, right? He writes a story. And so that's how Built to Sell is.
And then let's see. Then you've got a good classic, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Two classics at the end. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
Okay, this is Karina from Plainville. Stop acting rich. I went on a listing appointment and there were two other agents and they ended up going ahead of me. I was at the end. So, you're pulling up and you see and you go through and so I got the listing, right? And one thing she had asked me was, wow, you don't drive a fancy car and you didn't park in my driveway. And I said, no, I don't, because the flashy car means nothing to me. It's all about you and selling your property. So, and that's kind of why I got the listing, because one, I'm not acting rich. I'm not acting poor. I'm just acting like me.
Yeah. Cool. Congrats on that listing.
Oh, thanks. That was a long time ago, but thank you.
Cool. Yeah, and right, there's no judgment here. We're in curiosity, but the reality is, when we're talking about wealth building, we can either have stuff or we can have the wealth, right? No surprise, if we spend our money on things, we no longer have the money, we have the things. So the question is, do we want to be millionaires or do we want to look like we're millionaires, right? Something to think about.
All right, we have 5 minutes, 2 big ahas. If you didn't get to them in the beginning or if you've got new ones after today. I gotta hold people off of mute. Let's see some ahas. Totally.
I'll say one.
Go for it.
Oh gosh, I wrote it down and now I can't find it. Oh, lead generation comes first, last, and always, which is what was said before the millionaire real estate never drops the ball on lead generation. But thinking of it down to first, last, and always is just like a nice little nugget.
Mhm.
Yeah, great point, Julia. Remember what Gary said, the difference between a millionaire real estate agent and an average real estate agent is what? The millionaire real estate agent never drops the ball on leads. One more?
One more. Deanna, you're off mute.
Oh,
Give me your high five. No, me, no. Laurie Joe put something in the chat that I want to make sure everybody sees. Work the database, clean it up, girl after my heart, get those peeps on smart plans and call them.
Mhm.
Okay, one more, friends, and then we're cutting you loose for the day. Don't make me call on you. I will.
I would say the numbers don't lie. Don't be afraid to plug your numbers in and be act in reality. You know, I think that a lot of us love to fake it, but if you act with reality of where you are, then you can always put systems in place to improve it for growth, to get to your end results, and that helps a lot of us get off of the infamous hamster wheel. Why is it? Why are my goals here? However, at the end of the year, where I got was something else. It's are we acting in reality? Are we plugging in our true numbers and plugging in our true conversions and working hard to increase our skill sets to get to where we want to be, and not being frivolous with our goals.
Mm. Yeah, great point, Kimon. Great point. That actually, if I have a couple of minutes, I'm just gonna share one thing that I shared with my last ALC meeting, right? And it goes right along the lines of what Kimon said about the numbers don't lie. Like, be honest with ourselves, because when we talk about being real estate agents, a lot of times we tend to think we make $200 an hour, right? That's the amount you hear thrown around. But here's what I want you to do. Quick exercise. Take your net income from last year, divide that by 2080, right? That's how many hours there are in the year, and then divide that by 40, and that'll give you what your actual hourly rate is. And you know what? It's probably closer to $70, $60, $50 an hour. That is an eye opener. So what are you going to do? You're going to work more hours, or are you going to elevate the amount of business you do? And the second thing that's going to get you to do is frivolous spending. It's going to get you to think really long and hard about spending on, whatever.
Red light, green light. Red light, green light.
Exactly. Cool.
Hector, fabulous job today. Brooke, as
Thank
always,
you.
great job. You guys just knocked it out of the park on the economic model. And I am so excited to tell you guys that a lot of what you're talking about at the end here is playing right into tomorrow's session on the lead generation model.
Yep.
So guys, get ready for tomorrow. We have another team leader coming on. His name is Jesse Davies. He's a newer team leader, yet he's a mega agent that he's going to bring all of his experience to the call tomorrow, share with you how he's been able to build his business and why he's in the team leader role now. So get ready for tomorrow, the lead generation model. Great job, Hector. You really knocked out. You know what? The per hour thing was like a mic drop. We should have just ended the call at that. I want to know how many of you are going to calculate that now or as soon as we get off the call. Brooke, are you going to drop that into the chat?
I'm going to put it in the email after, unless Hector, you want to jump in there and write it in real quick, and then we'll make sure that it goes out and we'll get it out onto the growth page.
I'll send it to you, Brooke, in an email.
Awesome. Julia, we leave those nuggets of gold for the end, so you stay, girlfriend. We're not going to put that in the beginning. Right.
Such a mic drop.
All right.
All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Let's say we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.